Hello and welcome to another video, and this one is the wrap up from Metcon. What went on there, what was announced, and what are my thoughts on it? And I want to apologize for two things right off the front here. One, my voice is a little gone because I was talking the entire night and screaming my ass off for the things near the end, so it's a little gone. You may hear some voice cracks and a little bit not on my normal. I'm fine. I just need a day or two to fully recover until I start making my normal my normal videos again, but that's fine. And the other one is the footage you're going to see is taken directly from the Twitch stream. PGI, do not take down my video because I'm stealing this. It's just the Twitch stream quality. I can't get any better than that right now. They haven't posted a high quality version of some of these things besides the a couple trailers. So that's the best I can do. But moving on from there, Metcon. What? We're going to go through in the entire thing here. So I've got a whole bunch of notes. This is primarily going to be just audio, like a sort of a talk show kind of thing. But there will be some things on repeat in just a loop for you to watch them that are relevant to what I'm talking about. But anyway, Metcon in Vancouver. Traveled over there the day of. It was very nice. Although my plane had to land at the other harbor port. I took a seaplane from Victoria to Vancouver. There's two places where they can land. They couldn't land at the one near the con because it was socked in with fog. So we had to land down to the south near the airport, and we had to get a taxi, which was meh, whatever. It all worked out. Got to the location, lined up outside, saw some people, took some selfies with people, met people that I had seen online and talked to on Twitter. It was absolutely great. Got inside, great big long lineup, but eventually we get inside. It's amazing space, the location. Nice open, there's several tiers, there's a stage set up, there's all sorts of things, all of these different booths. There was an area to do 1v1s. There was the Battletech demo that was going on. There was the NCIX booth, and there was a board games like doing the tabletop in another one of the corners, and they're all really cool. And I looked around at them all. I didn't get a chance to try them all out, but I at least watched people do it for a while. And let's just go through those. So the first one up was the 1v1. This is the new map that's going to come out in the next patch. And that's not the next patch for this. There's actually a lot of things that are coming out next patch. It's almost like they want to make my patch video job even harder. It's called Steiner Stadium, if I'm getting that correct. It is the textured and a little bit rejiggered 1v1 test map that we've had in the game for a while. It's entirely designed to do 1v1 duels in. You come up on this elevator, you're coming up this elevator, you get to the top and it opens up and spits your mech out, and then you've got this sort of drag strip lights that go down, red, 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 green, and then you get to go and do your fight. It's really cool. You get out there, and then in the sky there's this like zeppelin floating around with, I don't know, the different unit insignia on it and stuff like that. And then every so often there's fireworks that explode in the sky. It's absolutely amazing. I should have some footage from the live stream of people playing on the map. Maybe not the best gameplay because it was just random people, and also you really couldn't customize your controls that well. So sensitivity issues were a lot with the mouse. But yeah, it was an amazing map. You're going to see it next patch. I can't wait to duel people when I do my Solaris Sundays. We'll just go Steiner Stadium the entire time. But moving on, we have the Battletech demo. I saw it on the floor. I didn't get a chance to play it myself. There was like a constant lineup for it, and supposedly some people stood in the line for like an hour and a half or 2 hours or something along those lines. So I was just like, that's fine. It's going to come into beta relatively soon. I believe they said sometime in the spring, like January, February, I think they said. I'm not sure exactly, but it's going to be soon. I will cover it when it starts to come out. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be that turn-based, tactical. Really enjoy those kind of games like the XCOM. I really loved those games. So I will for sure do a series on that. I will cover its development once it goes into open beta and there's something for me to record and play. NCIX, which is a technology company in Vancouver, had a booth set up. They were showing off different computer hardware setups. They had 2 different machines, water-cooled, like incredible components in them. They had one that was rendering MWO in a sort of I'm not actually sure the technology, but it was I think it was the monitor doing it. It was this 3D dual rendering thing, and then you put on these glasses, and it looked like you could like reach into your cockpit sort of thing, and it was all sort of going back into the screen. I didn't get a chance to try these out myself. Again, there was a very long lineups, and I was walking around talking to people and meeting people, but it looks amazing. The other setup they had was MechWarrior Online in 4K, and just the resolution is incredible. Everything looks nice and crisp. Yeah, they're amazing, but I can't afford hardware of anything that close, so yeah, I'll just have to stick with my old machine until I make enough of that AdSense dollars. Yeah, dollar bills, y'all. But moving on, there was the board game setup. They were in one corner where you could actually sort of go up to the sides and get a little bit above them, and so I was sitting up there and was looking down and watching everybody play. Looks fun, looks great. I'm not really much of a board game person myself, so I wouldn't really get into that, but just they have it all set up there. People are having a blast, and that's great. You know, we have all of the aspects of the BattleTech franchise, the board game, the computer translation of the board game directly into BattleTech, then the MechWarrior Online, which is the first-person shooter translation of it. It's all going good. Alright, next up on my list here, I literally just have a Word document in front of me with a whole bunch of notes that I just made, was the Roughneck. Interestingly, this was before the con even started. They posted the Roughneck's store page onto the store, and they made it live. So they put out these posters, these sort of banners, and they had the Roughneck art on it, and then I tweeted that immediately. What the hell is this? What mech is this? And people started theory crafting, and then somebody found it because it went live. And yeah, it is an original design by Alex Iglesias, the mech drawing god that they have there at PGI. And it's an original. So it's brand new. It's never been a mech before. I know some people are a little like, oh no, why didn't they do the mech that I wanted, or a mech that was already in the lore? Well, you know, I can understand that. Maybe you wanted something very particular. Like currently, I would love to see an Uzil or something along those lines. Some of the MechWarrior 4 mechs that I really enjoy seeing. But this is really significant. If they can go and say, hey, we don't actually just have to use the already existing mechs. Like, if we are at a point where we don't want to advance technology, we don't have to have, you know, get IS, I don't know, ultras or something like that. Like, maybe they don't want to go their tech past sort of the 3050 era. They want to, you know, they don't want to go into the 3040, 3050, 3060, where things start getting a little silly. They can go to the side instead. They can make that 3050 and they can go, hey, we can just add on mechs. I think it's really interesting. I think it's really cool. We're going to see how it sells, of course. I'm going to do a complete should you buy on it. The quick notion is that it's basically a Jaeger mech with different setups, and it looks pretty good. I'll have to do some exact calculations on it and give my thoughts on its hardpoint locations and hitboxes and stuff like that. But overall, I think it's going to be a good mech, and I'm really excited to see Alex Iglesias' creative shackles be unchained and allow him to run wild and make anything he wants. Moving on to the main announcements. Starting off with Faction Play 4.1. So this is the big change they were talking about making to community warfare, or faction play, or whatever they're calling it now. We all know what we're talking about. They're going to bring it down to a single IS group versus a single clan group. So no longer is it going to be individual attack lanes. It's all going to be one big front. All of the clans are over here, all of the IS are over here, and that front is moving back and forth as you take planets. I think this looks really interesting. I like the sort of the feel of it. It feels like a tug-of-war battle system, where before, like, we had those couple times where before faction warfare map got reset, one of the clans just pushed straight to Terra and took everything around Terra, and then it was just like, well, the clans won, what do we do now? Reset the map. So hopefully it'll mean that they can control the direction that the fight's going a little bit better. They can make it so not one clan just pushes like a straight through, like a, you know, like piercing into it. We more likely have to do a slow grind and just slowly expand our front like a bubble instead. That'd be really cool. Another couple more details here. Long Tom artillery is being removed completely from faction warfare, at least in this initial iteration. I have no idea if they'll maybe try to bring it back in some sort of interesting gameplay experience, because we can't have it. If the beef can't cheese people with artillery suicide bombers, then what is this game coming to? But is being replaced with a radar jammer. We have no information on how this works yet, but I'm assuming that it's just going to be, if your guys have fully scouted the thing, maybe the enemy radar doesn't show where you are on their minimap or something like that. It'll be interesting. I think a lot of people will be happy that Long Tom is gone. It was a little bit of a too much of a damaging thing. It would always, whenever it landed, and get a few kills and make the game kind of annoying to play with. But moving on, we got incorporation of the game modes from quick play into faction warfare. So as far as I know, this doesn't mean that quick play is gone. It just means that those game modes will also show up in faction warfare. So you can do, instead of just an invasion match, you can do a skirmish match, or a conquest match, or the new assault, or something like that, which will be really interesting. It'll mix it up so that it's not always just the same invasion grind, because some of those game modes, and specifically that game mode on specific maps, makes it quite annoying because of the you know, going into those bottlenecks and getting ground down. But yeah, I really want to see how that works. Really important thing, that's next patch. Like, that's in what, 9 days or something like that. So holy shit. But one last detail about faction play is that they still want to have those particular faction rivalries. They want to be like, you know, Liao and Davion or whatever, just as an example. They have a faction rivalry. So for like an event weekend, they'll have a Liao Davion skirmish in one end of the place. So those pilots that are joined up with that faction, or either one of those, can go and skirmish there. It's interesting. It keeps that faction rivalry, that sort of lore-based thing, but it is only for a subset and not for everyone. So there could be some event, but then not everyone can participate because they're not part of those groups. Maybe it's something they don't need to make some sort of big event to do. They can just have it spontaneously happen and just be like, hey, for the next 3 days, spontaneously, there's a skirmish that you guys can go fight in. That'll be interesting. But moving on to Escort. New game mode. Protect the AI-controlled Atlas as it walks across the map to an evacuation point. Just reading off my points here. The team protecting the Atlas has turrets, sensors, and ECM at capturable bases around the map. Improvements to mech collisions to help with the new AI mech on the field, and this is coming in the next patch. So this is really interesting. It's the first really truly asymmetrical mode in the game. The defenders of the AI-controlled Atlas have these sort of mini bases, sensor towers or ECM towers and turrets spread across the map, and they're trying to move this Atlas, which is AI controlled, so we can't directly jump into it and start running at full speed. It'll just go from point to point on some sort of route or something. No information on this yet, but it goes from drop point to evacuation point. The goal of the defenders is just have it get there. The goal of the attackers is to have it not get there by any means. And so you could probably like leg it, and then it won't get there on time. Maybe you can just destroy it. No information beyond that. No information on how it, like, how are they going to do some of these things? Is it just going to be, when you play this mode, is it just going to be the attackers just swarm in? It doesn't matter if they die, as long as they leg the thing, they're going to win, because the thing will never make it on time. So are they just going to all throw themselves on it, destroy that one mech, and then die, and then, oh, well, we sacrificed an entire company, but we managed to kill the VIP? That might be a problem. Or, some people have pointed out, just sitting back at 1K and just sniping the thing. Just, you know, sitting back there and ER large lasering this Atlas from across the map. The defenders then need to push at you. You don't need to, as an attacker, go and take any of the secondary objectives, the bases, the sensor towers, the turrets. You just sit where they aren't and laser the opponents from a distance. Some concerns about it, but we're going to be able to play with it immediately and give our feedback on it, as it's going to be in the next patch as well. Moving on to the Assault revamp, we got some new footage showing the different bases off, their buildings, their walls. Looks like from that footage that we're going to have turrets and sensor towers and maybe ECM towers and that kind of thing in each of the bases. This looks really cool. They actually had a lot of footage of the mechs destroying walls and buildings and making your own entrance into the enemy base and stuff like that. That's going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that. I absolutely dislike the fact on the Faction Warfare Invasion mode that you can't make your own entrance. Like, you can't go and say, yeah, I'm just going to blast my way through this wall. Can I not? Why do I have to take out the generator? Can't I just shoot this gate? I've got a battle mech with like a huge cannon on it. Can't I punch a hole through this thing? So that, I think, is really cool. Some of the walls looked a little flimsy. Looked a little like they were too thin. You know what I mean? Too, like, is that really a wall? Does that protect against anything? Maybe they should just make those a little bit beefier. They look more just like a vertical piece of metal instead of like something that was built up to stop something. I don't know. And that's just aesthetics, but overall, Assault revamp looks interesting. But my main concern is the fact that it's being symmetrical still. I'm really concerned about the symmetry of this, because if the goal of the game mode is to capture the enemy base, but you lose if your base is captured. But if you push on them, they have the home field advantage because they have turrets and walls and sensor towers. Why would you ever push? Why wouldn't you just stay at your base and just snipe ER large lasers or PPCs and Gauss from across the map and never push into them? You're sure you're never really going to win, but you're never going to lose that way. They have to push into you for them to win, so you can just be patient. And if they push in and they die, then all you have to do is just sit back and destroy their base from a distance. I have serious concerns about this being symmetrical. I think if it's symmetrical, it would be fixed with respawns, maybe with the faction play update and having quick play game modes in there. Maybe they're going to have respawns be added to those quick play game modes. I think that would be very cool. Then the symmetricalness would probably work because you could make waves of pushes, and that would be cool. I say that would be cool like 3 times now. What am I doing? I'm so tired from this event. If they don't do that, they need to make it asymmetrical, so that one team has a base, the other team does not. Even just that, having asymmetry for this and respawns would make this like amazing, because you make the assault base that they have to take out a formidable foe in itself, and it would, you know, you'd have to grind through it to get through, but you'd have 4 waves. Anyway, assault revamp, very interesting. Rust confirmed no later than March, so it could be March. It's March patch at the latest, if not earlier. Next up was the skill tree, and this is a complete redo of the skill system. This is big, in my opinion. It's one of the biggest thing, well, second biggest thing I'd say that they that they announced that evening. Definitely not the first biggest thing. That's coming up next. This is a complete redo of the skill system. They are completely gutting it and starting anew. They're moving towards a RPG style branching skill tree system. So instead of just having the same 8 basics, the same 4 elites, the same master for every single mech, and just being this, oh, it's just a grind and you get a little bit of mobility, you get a little bit of heat efficiency, and that's it. It's going to be a branching skill tree. So it's going to be like Path of Exile, or like World of Warcraft, or League of Legends, where you're going to have these different things. I think really similar to League of Legends. Like League of Legends have, like, what is it, attack, support, and defense, or something like that. I haven't played in so long, but it's along those lines. You're going to load into your mech, and you're going to go to its skill tree, and you're going to have a certain number of points, and there's obviously going to be way more options than there are points, and you're going to have to go to your, say if you want your mech to be highly mobile, you're going to go to the mobility one, and then you're going to click down with the mobile quirks and things and bonuses that you want. And that's really important because modules and quirks are completely removed. This new system is replacing them. So you will no longer be able to equip a module that gives you, say, 10% cooldown to a certain weapon. What you need to do is go into that firepower skill tree and select cooldowns in order to get that effect. The same thing with quirks. So if your mech used to have, say, a durability or a mobility quirk, you need to go into that skill tree and select those things. Now, this is interesting because modules and quirks being removed, that's big. That shocked me when that came up on the screen when I was watching it at the con. Important thing to note, a complete refund of all C-bills and XP spent on modules and skill trees for both the pilot trees of upgrading and unlocking modules, and also the skill trees for mechs of basic, leading, and mastering, will be refunded as legacy GXP. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but basically GXP. So you have no worries about all of your mechs out there. You'll get all of that funds back. You didn't waste any money, and then you can use that funds and XP to work into the new system, because there will be, from what I understand, both C-bill and XP costs for picking your things in the skill trees. Unsure about whether or not C-bill costs. I know it's going to have XP costs, but yeah, not sure about C-bills. So people who have a whole bunch of modules and stuff like that will probably be getting a few C-bills coming their way. I have a crap ton. I'm probably going to get like a couple 100 million C-bills from that, which will be ridiculous. And there's a few people in the community have done rough calculations and figured there'll be a C-billionaire after that change is done. But yeah, another point is each individual mech has its own skill tree. 2 of the same variant can have completely different setups. They'll have the same initial options. So say if you have an Arctic Cheetah Prime, you'll have the same options. But then another Arctic Cheetah Prime that you own will have say a completely different setup. They'll have the same options but different choices, and each individual mech has its own thing. So it's not like right now where you upgrade your Arctic Cheetah Prime, and then if you buy another one it's already automatically upgraded. You'd have to grind through that particular mech again, which is crazy. But you don't have to own 3 anymore. The biggest complaint I had about my free-to-play series has been addressed. You no longer need to buy 3 Arctic Cheetahs in order to elite or master your Arctic Cheetahs. You can just buy 1 and then play that one a whole bunch. Holy crap, that is huge. That is huge. How that changes how you interact with buying things in the game and the new player experience. No longer are we saying save your money and buy 3 of something. You know, oh, just save your money and buy 3 Timberwolves and you're good. No, you only have to buy 1 Timberwolf. You buy Omnipods after that, or something along those lines. You want to just run the Kodiak 3 and you don't care about the other ones, just buy a Kodiak 3. And that's it. Sure, it looks like from the initial numbers that it's going to take like 3 times as long in order to fully upgrade a single mech, just from sort of what I can see. I'm assuming a lot of the values here are placeholders, so I wouldn't go too far into it. But from what I can see, it's going to take longer for an individual mech to get fully upgraded, but once you do, you don't need to buy another one, and that's great. Moving on to the big thing from the entire night. MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. Holy fuck. That's all I gotta say. What the hell? This was entirely out of left field for me. I was like, when it first loaded up, I was just gonna be like, okay, so we can walk around our mech lab. It's like a, you know how Star Citizen has their hangar module? That's a hangar module for us. That's kind of cool. Wait, there's dialogue? What? He's interacting with an NPC. The detail is too good for Crytek, and it looks really good. Wow, that render distance. This is Unreal Engine, isn't it? Oh my god! And then just everything was different. Oh, it's so good. I'm so excited about this game. It is being made by an entirely new team at PGI. So they've been hiring people sort of secretly for a while. A couple of people in the community actually noticed this, and I saw some people at the event be like, I predicted this, look at my post, sort of thing. Where people have been like, are they making a new game? Because they're putting up job applications for people that know how to use Unreal. Supposedly, it's going to be a brand new, entirely dedicated team for that, and it's not going to conflict with MWO dev resources. That's interesting. I'd love to do like a meet the team thing, and let's have them make a video where we get to see who's doing it. But yeah, one thing that people have been asking about is Russ did play it on stage. I saw him moving the mouse, I saw him aiming, I saw his screen, and it was the exact same as what was on the big screens. He was playing that. That's playable. It's probably just that one level, and it's probably, like, I want to say scripted or anything, but obviously the AI was probably given sort of, what can I say, priorities to go move in certain ways, and he was more or less going along with it, but he was actively moving it. If you look at the YouTube video that they put out afterwards, the Shadowhawk does not run into the building, and on the live demonstration it did, but also it hit a building and it caused damage to a building and you can see inside. What the hell? It's amazing. And the Raven dies in different locations in each of the videos. So This will have a release time, they said, somewhere in 2018. Hopefully. We'll see how that goes. It's a Mercenaries title, which is interesting because that sort of brings back the Mech 2 Mercenaries and Mech 4 Mercenaries, which all had sort of branching campaigns, salvage, economy, that kind of stuff. So hopefully all that's coming back in. And one really interesting point was the Raven being called an unidentified mech in the trailer, which is cool because this, what is it, taking place in like 3015 or 3020 or something like that, really early on in the year, like the 3000s. The Raven was a brand new design at that time. Like, it wasn't fully adopted until like 3025 or something like that, but in the Raven's lore it said it was rushed out to fight in a war. This could be that war that we're fighting in. So that's really cool. So cool. I'll cover the development of this as close as I can, and I will definitely do playthrough of this when it eventually comes out. For sure. No way I'm not. And the last item of the day, which was the last thing that happened, was the finals of the MechWarrior Online World Championship. It was an EMP stomp. The opposing team put up a really good fight, though. Much closer than, like, I don't know. How can I say this? I knew EMP was going to win. I expected it. I almost wanted to say that, you know, no way that EMP is going to lose in my Metcon predictions video. But I'm just like, I won't play favorites. But they were the team that I had expected to win. You cannot deny their raw skill. Whenever I see them on the group queue, they scare me with how accurate they can be and how coordinated they can be, especially in small groups. They can turn the tide of a battle. So, congratulations to Imperial. You guys are the best at the game. Don't let it go to your heads that much. And hopefully, when we do this again next year, we have the next World Championships, they'll be back to defend their title. But yeah, I think that is everything about the con wrapped up into a single video that, if I check the timing on it, has gone for over half an hour because I ramble. But yeah, I want to thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be doing the Roughneck should you buy very quickly. Most likely we'll just do the theory crafting and stuff like that tonight, let my voice rest for another evening, and then put it out tomorrow. But thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned, as I'm going to try to make this channel everything MechWarrior. We have, well, everything Battletech. We have MechWarrior Online. We're going to have MechWarrior 5. We have Battletech game. So much Battletech content and video games coming out soon. It's so good. But as always, thank you for watching, and good hunting.